President Kardashian is on television as we speak. I decided not to jip President Kardashian. I figure you're angry and depressed enough as it is. But he's basically rehashing all of the lies he told about what health care is, how it's not going to cost you anymore, how you get to keep your doctor, how all these people are going to end up being insured that weren't insured. About that, you know, people still digging through this thing. The ruling is close to 200 pages. The law itself is 2,700 pages. Yes, he's spiking the football. Of course he was going to spike the football. We're the only ones who weren't going to spike the football. Of course he's spiking the football. I really concerned here, the amount of power this guy is now going to think that he's got. And it's payback time now, by the way. Ask Arizona about that. This is payback time. But they're going to have to readjust their campaign strategy because I know Obama was going to run against, four white guys and Uncle Tom. He can't run against Supreme Court now. He's really had a big campaign issue taken away from him in one sense, and we've had one handed to us. And this whole thing has now become purely political with the court ruling that this is a tax. And it turns out to be the largest tax increase in world history and a tax that we were deceived about. It becomes a purely political issue. It's made to order for the campaign. Made to order. Obama's got nothing to defend. He can go out there and defend this bill all day long, but the number of people who don't want any part of it just multiplied. He's got to go out and defend and brag about a law that nobody wants, or a vast majority of the American people don't want. He has to go out and try to defend an economic plan that's resulted in destruction of the American private sector. So you try to look for positives wherever you can, folks. And along those lines, there is a, to me, still somewhat confusing aspect of a ruling here on Medicaid and the states. There's this little excerpt here from the majority opinion. Nothing in our opinion precludes Congress from offering money under the Affordable Care Act to expand the availability of health care and requiring that states accept such funds, comply with the conditions on their use. But what Congress is not free to do is penalize states that choose not to participate in that new program by taking away existing Medicaid funding. So the Supreme Court apparently has decided that the government, in this case the Department of Health and Human Services, cannot penalize states who choose not to participate in the new Medicaid expansion. Again, nothing in our opinion precludes Congress from offering funds under the Affordable Care Act to expand the availability of health care and requiring that states accept such funds, comply with the conditions of the use of the money. But what Congress is not free to do is to penalize states that choose not to participate in that new program by taking away their existing Medicaid funding. So they can't do a health care version on Arizona, like they did on immigration in Arizona to the rest of the states. But remember who we're talking about here. We're talking about the Democrat Party and President Obama, who picks and chooses which parts of the law that he seeks to ignore and accept. Mitt Romney spoke just before noon about this. We have 3 sound bites. Here is the first of the 3.
What the court did not do on its last day in session, I will do on my first day if elected president of the United States. And that is, I will act to repeal Obamacare. Let's make clear that we understand what the court did and did not do. What the court did today was say that Obamacare does not violate the Constitution. What they did not do was say that Obamacare is good law or that it's good policy.
And he continued.
This is now a time for the American people to make a choice. You can choose whether you want to have a larger and larger government, more and more intrusive in your life, separating you and your doctor, whether you're comfortable with more deficits, higher debt that we pass on to the coming generations, whether you're willing to have the government put in place a plan that potentially causes you to lose the insurance that you like. or whether instead you want to return to a time when the American people will have their own choice in health care, where consumers will be able to make their choices as to what kind of health insurance they want.
And he wasn't finished. One more bite we have for you.
If we want to get rid of Obamacare, we're going to have to replace President Obama. If we want good jobs and a bright economic future for ourselves and for our kids, we must replace Obamacare. That is my mission. That is our work. And I'm asking the people of America to join me. If you don't want the course that President Obama has put us on, if you want instead a course that the founders envisioned, then join me in this effort. Help us. Help us defeat Obamacare. Help us defeat the liberal agenda that makes government too big, too intrusive, and that's killing jobs across this great country.
So that's the Republican presidential nominee, Mitt Romney, just before noon today, reacting to Obamacare. The Washington Examiner has a story here that Republican governors are planning to ignore the Supreme Court decision today to uphold Obamacare, hoping the issue will drive voters to dump Obama in favor of Romney, who has vowed to kill Obamacare. After the decision, the Republican Governors Association said that nothing should be done by the states until after the election, a clear signal that they believe a Republican president, Republican House, Republican Senate will kill Obamacare. The Governors Association Chairman Bob McDonnell said today's ruling crystallizes all that's at stake in November. The only way to stop Barack Obama's budget-busting health care takeover is by electing a new president. Obama's health care takeover encapsulates his presidency. Obamacare increases taxes, it grows the size of government, puts bureaucrats over patients while doing nothing to improve the economy. And that's exactly right. And does so as a result of a massive tax increase that the regime, the president, and the Congress all denied this bill was. Our freedom of choice just met its death panel, the Supreme Court.